If we're live, are we live? We are live. Turn up, y'all. Welcome back to the Planet Blurred podcast. We're live to bring you guys some awesome content on everything Black Panther. As you guys can see, we have some of our co-hosts joining us and some that will come in later on the call. But right now we have Fair and Taurus joining us. And we are lit, y'all. We already done pregame before the recording. We're just baby
More
Jesus.
shots later.
Boy, baby Jesus.
I didn't drink anything. I'm kidding.
No, we just pregame, like, had a good conversation. We was lit, listening to music. Like, this is something that I think is going to impact a lot of people. And that's why we want to talk to you guys about why this movie is important and bring you guys just like a non-spoiler review. We won't spill the beans. So, no worries on that. Taurus, watch yourself. Don't spill the beans.
Come on. I'm going to try not to be so cool.
He won't do it, y'all. But we are going to break down some of the main takeaways from the movie and what we thought was important. And again, we'll have some of our co-hosts joining us in a little bit. If you guys haven't seen the movie or if you've already seen it, everyone is welcome on this call. Like I said, non-spoilers. So we won't tell you guys anything, that you don't want to know. And I think other than that, we're good. If you guys haven't seen it, though, go check out episode 11 on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play. It's free. And we're just breaking down like the characters and plot progression and everything of Black Panther so you can kind of understand more of what's going on. So yeah, go listen for free. Other than that, you guys, we're going to jump right into it. So when I saw the movie, I really just wrote some things down that I wanted to talk to my family about. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So I really wanted to start with one thing, you guys, and that's on social media. A lot of people are saying, like, why are y'all so hype? It's just a movie and this is fake. So let's talk a little bit about that. I know you guys are ready to say something about that. So I'm going to give it to you guys first. What do y'all think about that?
Well, first of all, if it's fake or not, you can take takeaways from anything that you are watching or that you read. That's why that material is put out there for you. This specifically was created so that you're able to gain knowledge. Yes, Wakanda doesn't exist, but Africa is real. Black people are real. Our power in numbers is real, and it can't be disputed. That's just fact. If you work with a team and everybody has a common goal, is knowledgeable, and actually wants to do better, then you'll be able to be successful. And so Wakanda might not be real, but the message that movie displayed and everybody with African American culture, as beautiful as it is, it wasn't just Black girl magic, it was Black men magic. It was pure and utter Black excellent, and I am pleased.
Yeah.
I'm pleased.
Hey, Al's joining us in on the call. Al,
good.
We're just talking about we're talking about the importance of this movie and a lot of people saying that, it's not real and what's the hype for and all that. So that's what we're talking about right now. I just let me get this out the way and then I'll let y'all talk because I know I will rant about this. But to us as people of color, this is important. And it's not just, it's a fictitious place and it doesn't exist. What's the hype for it? It's really about the representation. And it's about the power that we see in this movie. And it's also about the fact that, when we were growing up, we didn't have a lot of Black people representing us in a positive and powerful way. Our parents did not have many people representing them in a positive and powerful way. So for us to now be able to have this and have little kids running around dressing up as kings and queens and warriors and thinking that this is who I am and this is who I can be, that changes their mindset because now they don't have to see themselves as a drug dealer or, being sexualized if they're a woman and all these things. They're seeing themselves as now I can be a warrior and I can be a princess and I can be a queen or a king. You know what I'm saying? So it's more important just the fact that they can literally see themselves. Like I was talking to my dad and he said when we were younger and we read comic books, we had to imagine ourselves in these positions. These kids now don't have to imagine. They can look at the screen and now see
Right.
themselves. You know what I'm saying? Now see themselves and really be empowered by it. So yes, you know, Wakanda doesn't really exist. Vibranium, all that stuff, whatever, is fiction. But what we are seeing on screen and the hope that it gives us as a nation, as people of color, as, you know, women, as men, that's real. And even the culture that they brought in the movie, they brought that from real tribes in Africa, like the clothing, the markings, the language. They spoke Xhosa, which is a Bantu language. It's a real language. So that stuff is real, and that's what resonates with us. So you can't say, oh, it's all just fake. No, the message that it brings is real. So what y'all think? Taurus, what you think?
See, and just hearing about it, like people ranting about, you know, why it's such a big deal, why they see us dressing up and everything. Well, think of it this way. You know, if you can dress up and go nuts for Star Wars, in which I love Star Wars, if you can dress up and get ready for the Avengers
Exactly.
when it first came out, and thinking about Batman and any other superhero, what's the problem with this? I'll Exactly. You know, like people are so selective when it comes to arguments, when it comes to race in general, when it comes to superheroes.
Yeah.
Like growing up, you know, in the South, in North Carolina, like the closest to a hero we had was Michael Jordan. And you know, every kid
Right.
wanted to be Michael Jordan. I mean, he went
Right.
to the University of Carolina. I mean, came straight
I
out
wanted to be
of Chicago. You know, everybody wanted to be him. I wanted to be him. But, you know, the thing was, you know, that's all that we knew. And now it was like, this is showing that you could be more than just dribbling the ball. You know, you could impact. You know, you don't even have to make an impact by just simply going to the court every single day, you know, making money. Like anybody can do that. You know, Black Panther is a symbolism of strength and nobility in the Black community, you know, from all, you know, because the movie itself, it just showed that with a sense of community and change and understanding amongst each other and each tribe and each group, it can bring so much, you know, culture. It can bring so much strength, and especially for our youth, because guess what? It's needed.
Oh yeah.
It's needed. The other day, and it was shown on one of the clips that actually leaked on Ellen. I think that's the name of this show. I don't watch daytime show, y'all. Forgive me. Yeah, y'all probably seen it already, but there was a clip that Ellen DeGeneres leaked out just for because I think Chadwick Boseman was there, where of course Okoye, she stated guns, they're so primitive. Enough. The same day that the movie was released, we had a mass shooting in Florida.
Yeah.
And thoughts, and by the way, our thoughts and prayers are with those families and those kids
for sure.
And because of that, from a Black woman to be saying that, you know, it could catch attention to us Black men, especially those that are in the street that have guns and that are using them and just to terrorize others. You know, why are we using these? What are we running away from? What are we afraid of? In which, in reality, we don't need to be afraid of anything because we were here first. That's the truth. Our people have been so empowered throughout this weekend, and just going to the theaters, just seeing the culture, just seeing the dancing, seeing the Zamunda-like wear.
Yes.
Made me turn up so rapidly. It was just so cool. Like, cool is an understatement in this case. Like, I was just like, yeah, man. Like, if that's the case, where the barbecue at? Like, where's the collard greens? Forget about the popcorn. Where's the plate at, man? I mean, like, for the first time, we come together as one. And it's not only for the, but because it's time to do so. you know,
Right.
because
Yeah.
I mean, with numbers, it takes a village, you know, and the kid, you know, my little cousin the other day, you know, her face lit up like I never seen her face like that before, and she's only 5 years old.
Yeah.
Like my little baby cousin's face lit up because she's a huge fan of Thor. She thinks he's you know cute and all that. Like what you no you need Black Panther in your life.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Thor.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with Thor.
Yeah, long to keep that haircut.
I know.
Going
Yes.
also with that long hair, child.
Oh, and because y'all just edit her on, and she probably
girl power. That's what we do. That's what we do. Got to stick together. Got to stick together, man.
And to see her face just lit up after watching Black Panther, and you know
it's amazing.
That's the reason why.
Yeah.
And there was of two little boys looking at a poster, you know, of saying, I'm this one. No, I
saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
That's why. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth, because our generation needed. You know, the comics weren't enough. I love the comic books, but it wasn't enough. Yeah. This was it. This is the draft right here. This is the first overall pick right here. Like,
well, I mean, it's about time for him though. And we talked about that before when I did that Facebook video. It's like for him to have to wait this long as a character for him to get the spotlight. Well, he did in 2016 in Civil War. And we're talking about cinematic universe. But it's about time. Like, dude has been around since the 1966 in the comic books. You know, even my dad spoke to me about, you know, seeing it when he was younger. And he's like, oh my goodness, like a Black superhero. Because my dad was born in the 60s. So for him to have to wait till 2016 to premiere in Civil War in the cinematic universe and now wait till 2018 to get his own film, it's like, my God, like, thank God that we're getting this moment, but it's like it's long overdue. Jesus, like,
it's funny that you mentioned that, because back in 1992 there was a rumor stating that I laugh at this every single time I hear this, because it could have been weird just by seeing him on screen, because he played Blade, but Wesley Snipes was originally back in the 90s were to play Black Panther, play T'Challa if that were to happen.
Oh, okay.
He said, which I don't see it, but you know, I see him as Blade. That's it.
Yeah, he's fine as Blade. He's okay in that area. Stay there.
But
yeah.
Work on your taxes, bro. But, like, it's just.
Oh no. Let me catch my dart.
Bruh, I was not ready. I was not ready for this. But no, I get what you're saying though. Like, okay, wait, that's gonna bring me to my next point. Y'all, okay, let me pause, because there's a lot for us to digest from this movie. So y'all forgive us, because we're gonna be like really just lit, and we're gonna be
part 2 next week.
Right. We're gonna be moving like literally from topic to topic, because there's so much to take away from this film. One thing that I wanted to say real quick, Taurus, because I want to piggyback a little bit off of what you were saying. One thing that I heard a lot of the actors say, which I definitely agree, I think this is true to heart. I honestly think this is true. They were saying that, you know, Wakanda is a depiction of what our motherland, what she could have been if she had not been colonized, if she had not been tampered with, if she had not been stolen from. And I see that because, you know, like we said, all that other stuff is fiction, you know, the vibranium and those resources that they have, that's not real. But just imagine what our motherland could have been and the resources that she could have had she not been infiltrated and colonized. And that's something that we'll never know, because clearly, you know, history shows, but we won't get into that. But we won't get to, Jesus. But all we can do is literally imagine that. And so by us imagining it, we now see Wakanda.
Yeah.
And that's what's in our hearts. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you something. We can get there.
We can.
I refuse to believe that we have hit our peak. You know, science tells us that we only use 15% of our brain. Wakanda, they definitely used more of that brain. Whether or not it was 100% functional, I'm not sure, but they used more than 15%.
Right.
You have to be able to see yourself progressing and see yourself at that next level to get to that next level. If you can't see it, you'll never get there, because it does take hard work. It does take banding together, but at the end of the day, you have to see it. And that vision, that initial mustard seed of a faith, as we like to call it for, us saved folks, that you need that. And when you have that and you hone in on that specific thing and you just focus on that and focus on being a better version of you and building up your brother and your sister instead of holding them down, we can make this place Wakanda. First of all, we are the majority.
Yeah.
Even though we're the minority, we're the majority. People of color, hate to break it to you, other people, we are the majority. We definitely have the numbers, but we lack the drive and the desire to truly work together to not let anyone keep us down. I've learned so many things in this Black History Month. With my business, I'm focusing on 28 days of free financial advice. And so much stuff is just coming up. And it's like, there's so much available to us, so many different resources. And then there are also built-in resources that keep us down. If you don't understand that systematic pressure and just knowing where you fall on the totem pole and how to combat that, you're going to forever be stuck.
Right.
Low income people are going to forever have low income because you don't even know how to seek out a job with higher income. Wakanda, they gave us hope. It is a nation of hope. It's a nation rich on tradition and culture. That's something that we lack. Like, we always stealing from somebody else. We doing this. Asian people doing this, so now we got to do this. Latin people doing this, we doing this. Europeans doing this, so now we're doing this. And it's like, what is an American tradition? What is something that we as Americans can say, this is ours, we own it? Even down to the diversity of the movie. It wasn't just Africans from Africa. People came from Canada, from
Trinidad,
England, from the United States. From
Chinese
Cote d'Ivoire.
people. Yeah.
So it's just a really good blend and showing that diversity, but they all came together and did their job.
But that's what the movie, and I was trying to tell someone this, we see all that backlash on the internet. Why y'all so hyped? Well, this is what the movie represents. It represents that synergy between, men and women. We talked about this pre-recording.
Yes.
The fact that in Wakanda, whether you are a woman or whether you are a man, you are equal. You can be in hierarchy and you can have power. You can be a general and be a woman. You can be a warrior and be a woman or a man. It doesn't matter. So the fact that they have that synergy allows them to be closely knit as a nation, so that if anyone comes in and they try to infiltrate, they're going to be able to have that power to fight them off and to protect Wakanda because they're on one accord. But if you don't have that synergy and you're all over the place, then how can you stand together as a nation and fight for what you have and what you believe? You can't. So this movie brings that to us because there's so much power in just working together, putting all things aside and saying we are all equal and we're all going to work together to protect what we love and what we respect and what we honor. And that's what this movie is showing us. But people are lacking the intellect to grasp that from this movie. They're just like, oh, it's fake. I'm like, no, guys.
Right.
Watch come on.
And with that, and here's my thing. Of course, we already know this, but this is for the people in the back that ain't paying attention.
Hello.
If you ask that question, what are we so hyped for? You're part of the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I just took them to church. But it's like
preach.
It's like this. This is the same way as this. That's equivalent to saying all lives matter. You feel me?
Yeah, that's true.
That's just being blunt. And what we've been through within these past few years. I mean, Black people are dying. Black people getting killed. Black people are getting incarcerated. Black people are getting convicted on some stupid crimes that they possibly didn't do or did do and gotten more sentences than the white man.
Exactly.
We've been suffering for so long. Finally, we have some light that is shed upon us. And honestly, the light has always been there. We just have to open our minds just to look for it. That's what T'Challa has taught us here. That's what Black Panther, this movie, has taught us. We have to open our minds and be able to advance in every aspect of life. If we are not willing if we're not willing to do that, then Wakanda would have not existed. But we are able to just come together as one and just fight and just being able to advance in every single aspect, because of course the oppressors are going to come against us. That's what they're there for, because they think they own the place just because they colonized us. But honestly, let me tell you something. They may have colonized us, but they don't own us.
Right.
Fight back.
Right.
You know, there's no rule that says that we can't fight back. And when the day that we choose to do so, I mean, we've already been doing it. We can run this world. Like, I mean, we already running the world, honestly. I mean, hey, last time I checked, my president was black. But,
hello.
Hey, hello.
It's just understanding that, Wakanda is us. It's not
it is.
place. It's us. The same way with, no, I can't even say that. It's way better than Asgard. With Thor Ragnarok, it's not even about the place. It's about the people.
Right.
But I'm not even going to compare them to that because they just on some other stuff. This is my people right here. Wakandans, we are Wakandans. That's what this is all about. To just come together, celebrate, not just embrace it and empowerment. Now that we've seen the movie, now that we've come together, this is our chance. This is our opportunity to let those oppressors know that we are not going anywhere. We are not going to bow down to your fake policies, and understand this too. Hey, we can play that game as well. So, and besides, we were here first. So,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people fail to recognize what you just said, that very last sentence. And y'all know, but I don't know if our listeners know, but I work in the DNA diagnostic field. I'm a DNA analyst. So a lot of times, we work with African wives and we work with genealogy and things like that. And I think this film is really just a reminder of how we need to reach back to our roots and, find out who we are and where we come from. At my job, probably about 2 years ago, they finally offered GPS testing because they were doing genealogy testing, but it wasn't very accurate. So they ordered some things to where they could do GPS testing and literally hone in on your tribe and tell you where you are from all the way back 1,000 years. So my sister and I, we did it. And we were like, we just want to know who we are and where we come from. And so we took that test, and I can't even explain to y'all the feeling of seeing yourself and your ancestors and your history 1,000 years back on paper, just like right in front of you, right there. And so like when I saw this movie, what I did was I came back home and I found those papers and I was like, I want to go over this again. And I really want to look at like who I am and who my people were. And after seeing the movie, I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the top 3 in my gene pool because they give you like specifically like where that tribe was and where they moved and things like that. So I said, I want to take my top 3 in my gene pool and I want to go visit those places next year. And I want my feet to stand where my ancestors were. Like, that's what I want to do. And so one of those in my gene pool was the Bantu Congo. And so that was one of the main languages they spoke in Black Panther. So I said, you know what? I'm going to learn this language so I can at least have a conversation, and I'm going to go visit. And so me and my sister are planning to go visit just from, that test and seeing the movie and just wanting to know who I am and where I came from and reach back to my ancestors. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think this movie is kind of telling us too. Like, reach down in there and find out who you are, like, and find out where you came from and be proud of it. Like,
and the world needs to take note because Killmonger's personality, his beliefs, and where he stands in life, that's the real.
Yeah.
You can continue to put your foot on somebody's neck. That person is going to rise up. And sometimes how they rise up is not going to be the quiet, somber of like, I'm just going to make myself better. Like, no, I'm taking this entire organization down. And if I have to go with it, that's fine. But I'm just going to dismantle the whole thing. And not, when you get people that are so far gone and so lost, then you're fueling a problem that is even harder to maintain and to combat. Versus just fixing the problem on the lower level. Like one thing, if you get income housing here in the United States, the woman, of course, has the child, so they keep the mother and the child together. But then the father of the child can't live in the low income housing.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. So you're literally telling me that the person that's helping me raise my child cannot live with me. So you're forcefully separating us because I need this assistance to get, place a decent roof over my child's head. So now I can't be with the man that I love or be with the person that's going to take care of me, because if he's in the house, then I no longer qualify for the income assistance housing. But I still need the income assistance housing because we still ain't got no money. It's a vicious cycle, and that is literally a system to hold people down. And it doesn't have to be Black people. It's anyone regarding low income.
Exactly.
And that's what people fail to realize with this movie. It's so much bigger than just, oh, the Black people got a movie. No, this is a movie about people coming together from all different walks of life and trying to make sure that their culture and their tradition is protected, but doing it the right way, still including everybody and doing everything for them and really working what they say for the greater good. And that's a really big deal, because if you look at something that we're going through now with the government, and this is what we're talking about this conversation can really go, in so many different directions, because this movie had to do with politics. It had to deal with racism. It had to deal with equality. It had to deal with belief systems, strong beliefs that it's like, I grew up my whole life thinking this way, but now I'm finding out this. So now, okay, what is my heart telling me to do type systems? Right. And one thing that, we're dealing right now within the government is that they're trying to get rid of food stamps, where you buy fresh groceries to give people canned box lunches. What? What is that? What is that? I said, first of all, that's not healthy. So yes, you might be saving money right now, but now you're gonna have so many people flooding the hospitals, so many people flooding the doctors, and so now people that actually need acute care won't be able to get it, because everybody else is going to have these long-term diseases. They're going to have cancer. They're going to have heart disease. They're going to have heart attacks, strokes, all different things that could have been avoided had they been dieting better. But you're literally forcing them to not diet better because you're taking away their fresh food. Like, who does that? That literally makes no sense.
It's the system, and it's the system that, and that's that's another thing that the movie shows, is that, how can these things be fixed, and how can all of these things be alleviated if people have the resources to be able to avoid that? But that's the way. That's the other thing I wanted to talk to y'all about. We're just like, this is so crazy, y'all. There is so much to talk about. What I want to talk about, Farrah, you really touched on this, and Taurus, you did too. The contrast in the movie between tradition and innovation. There is a huge contrast there, because you have this is how it works, and this is how, and this is non-spoilers, because y'all have seen on the trailer when Killmonger's like, I'm gonna burn it all, the world's starting over, this is how I want it to be. You have the view of, this is what we've always done and it's always worked, so we need to do that. But then you have the view of, no, the world is changing and we need to adapt and we need to be on top and we have to do this to get there. So that's what I wanted to talk about next, because both of y'all kind of touched on that a little bit. It's just like that mindset of, one side of the track and then one side of the track, but it really exhibits a lot of how we as people of color think sometimes. And the way we approach it may be from one extreme to a whole nother extreme. But a lot of people are saying Killmonger as a villain exhibits what we as Black America feel.
So this is my take on it. People are that's asinine, but whatever. Here's my take on it. To make it real plain, look at our gun control laws.
Exactly.
Oh, Jesus.
We have to go through much more to get car insurance. Car insurance than we do gun control. And the issue is not the fact that there is more accidents with cars than there are guns. That's just simple fact. But look at how many lives are lost in a senseless fashion due to gun control. Something so simple as a accurate background check, or someone having to renew their license every 6 months. That's a big deal. We have to get new car insurance every 6 months. Every 6 months, our car insurance is evaluated. If you've had an accident, a parking ticket, or a speeding ticket, your insurance will most likely go up. So that's going to make you more cautious as a driver. Same thing if you're in an accident, even if you weren't at fault, don't have some insurance and see whose side they're gonna take. They're gonna take the side of the person with the insurance.
It's just
So even something that simple is your tradition. The tradition is let a man take up arms. Okay, we've taken up arms, but who's the enemy? Like if you're not mentally equipped to deal with having a firearm and only shooting when absolutely necessary, that's where the innovation comes in. The world is changing. We now have too many guns out on the street. There's not enough people policing it. So now we have to have tighter gun control. And that's plain and it's simple. That's something that everybody can understand. And it's the fact of where we are today. So we have the tradition of the Constitution.
Exactly. And then you have the innovation.
Exactly. Which is like, no, guys, if this has gotten out of control, we gotta dial this back some. Yeah.
But that's what the movie is showing us, though.
Exactly.
It's showing us that contrast, and like it's almost sad because you can literally take from both sides. Some people to one side, and some people, like in the movies, a lot of people were like, I mean, I could relate with T'Challa, I could relate with Killmonger. So it's like, how do you find that gray area? You know what I mean?
Like, it's you can, and honestly, you can actually have the sides of both, because you know, I mean, T'Challa, he's trying to keep everything together and make sure that his own community, his own country is being taken care of, rather than on the outside world, they're only dealing with their problems, you know, and then you can have the side of Killmonger, you know, being able to, wanting to spread that, being able to help the rest of the world, help the rest of his people that are outside of Wakanda. And just understand, you know, hey, I mean, we suffering out here, man. Like we need your help, you know? I mean, because I mean, Black people, we have the resources, just like you said, Fair. And we just have to understand how to use that, how to find our safety within each other.
In the right way.
The right way, exactly. Because you know, with the guns, if I walk down the street right now with a gun, I know I'm going to be arrested. I know it. Even if I had my gun license, I know I'm going to be arrested. For one, I'm in the South. Let's just keep it 100. Number two, I'm going to be seen as a thug, as a killer, and all of that. Still, a little 19-year-old white boy can shoot up a school, and he could be mentally ill.
Right. Or a troubled boy, a troubled young boy.
Yeah, a troubled boy. Let me tell you something. I have a mental illness. Well, actually, 2 mental illnesses. I ain't shot up no school. I ain't shot up nobody. I mean, there's a thing. See, in school, when we were in high school, there was a thing called a butt whooping. And if you did something stupid, if you were cutting up in class,
you gonna step on some toes, stars. You gonna step on. We're gonna lose some viewers.
Right? Ain't even talking about Black Panther no more.
I'm just
ain't even on the subject of Black Panther.
That's the thing. It's so.
I get what you're saying, and it sucks because it's like a lot of what we're seeing in this movie is what you're taking away from what we're seeing in real time, right here in America. You know, in Black lives and in colored people's lives and everybody's life.
But that's not even what I meant. What I was more or less referring to is the disciplining part. Our society is so afraid to discipline people. Like when you see somebody doing wrong, I can't say nothing to that person. You know, that person might get upset. Right is right. If you don't, this is what we were taught coming up in school. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. You gotta speak up when people doing wrong.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a characteristic that a lot of people lack, especially now. I mean, when I was younger, I'm from Texas. For y'all that don't know, I'm from Texas. We had corporal punishment. So in school, if you messed up, you know, you had permission from your parents, you got your butt whooped. And that's just what it was in school. You know what I mean? So a lot of us, if we did something wrong, we learned from it and we moved forward. But these kids in this generation now, totally different because they're very sensitive and discipline and respect does not come to their mindset for some reason. I'm not even gonna get into that because that's way left from the conversation. But
I mean, and then Black I mean, and with us seeing this movie, it just showed how disciplined they were. The Wakandans
Exactly.
were.
Exactly.
So, and
Yeah.
the discipline that they not only showed throughout, royalty, but also within other people, like the kids,
Hmm.
they were even, I mean, and barely, they were even disciplined.
Right.
And so it's
Right.
like,
Yep.
act like them. If you can be them, then you would be in a better place. And because they found their peace, they didn't have to worry about what was going on the outside world,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
So colonization messed us up.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and that's a big takeaway, like I said, from this movie from the beginning. And I said this and I'll say it again, is the fact that you see Wakanda as this place, and yes, it's fiction, whatever, for the y'all that want to debate us. It's fiction, okay? We know that.
Like I said, they're the
Um,
problem.
we know that. But the takeaway is the fact that our background and our history with our ancestors, we are lost from them.
Hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That that area has been tampered with and it has been taken away from us. And seeing Wakanda as a place to where at one point they were never touched. They were never colonized. None of that stuff in history happened to them. So because of that, what resulted was a nation that's empowered by men and women alike,
Mm-hmm.
and they're able to work together to be a powerful, powerful nation who's way ahead of anything we'll ever have because of vibranium, but still, and because of their synergy, and they work together, and everyone's equal. But we'll never be able to right now be able to have that connect with our ancestral background because it has been colonized. And
Hmm.
so our vision of what we see through this movie is all we have to hold. That's that hope that we have to hold on to. And so that part is real for us because everything began there. And if you don't
Right.
know that, I'm going to need you to get your life. Okay, so everything began there. Every single one of us, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, we all came from there. So get your life. Um, but what we have been fed to believe that Africa looks like and Africa is from colonization. And this movie is something again that gives us hope because it's like, dang, this place ain't never been touched by those colonizers, like, and look what it is. It's
Hmm.
beautiful. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
And
But
this is how I feel about it when it comes to Wakanda and making it again real for our viewers and our listeners. If you look at the United States, one big takeaway that we can take away from this movie is that we need to take care of our own people.
thank you.
We have so many people who are starving, so many people who are homeless, so many people who are without jobs. Yet we're continuously outsourcing our jobs. We're continuously going into other people's countries and trying to tell them what to do when we haven't even taken care of home first.
Thank you.
So take care of
Exactly.
home. Let's fix America before we go and try to play doctor for everybody else, because it's like we're trying to be a doctor and we missing both of our eyes. Like we
But
Yeah.
looking ridiculous out here.
that's even fair. That's
Yeah.
that's good because that's even the point that we talked about with tradition. That
Yep.
side of tradition and that side that T'Challa and even Okoye have. They're traditionalists in a sense,
Yeah.
but they want what has worked for Wakanda to stick, and they want that. Well, we need to take care of Wakanda and make sure Wakanda is okay, and we need to be in house right now, and then we'll worry about those other people and things like that. And eventually, things happen to where they have to address the other side, innovation, but we won't get into that. Um, but yeah, I mean that's that side of it. The side that
Mm-hmm.
we need to make sure our pride and our honor in our country is withheld, and we need to make sure our people are okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I relate to that part of that. I also related a little bit to Killmonger too, but it's just like again, how do you find that in between?
Yeah. And the thing is, another thing, what like as far as just going back to protecting our own,
Mm-hmm.
uh, especially the most important person that need to be protected in this world, on this earth, in this society, this crazed society, is the black woman,
Yeah.
because the most important part of this world. Like that's mama. y'all are mama, although y'all not my mama, but y'all mama.
I mean, we did give birth to nation. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Y'all mama. But and it shows that, the black woman is the most unprotected, unloved woman on earth. I mean, and I'm not saying that any other race, and by the way, y'all, for those who are viewing, I am not racist. I am not. I'm just a point. I love all people.
We love all people. We do. We do.
People. We love all people. I just love my people more. But no, but
Guys, we're going to take a 15-minute break. When we come back, Taurus will no longer be online with us because we do not want for anyone to get this misconstrued. No, I'm just kidding. While we all laughing, we are all pro-black, so don't get it twisted.
Right. We love black people.
Don't get it twisted.
We are not, anti-white or anything, but we're just saying Black Panther, black people.
But the thing is, because the black woman isn't, protected. And, with seeing this movie, the Dora Milaje, they kicked so much butt. I'm telling you.
I'm saying though,
didn't they though?
That's just a depiction of the fact that, like you said, sometimes we do get screwed over and we get messed over a lot. But it does show that like black women a lot of times have to end up protecting themselves and fighting for themselves because we have to become like that hard shelled warrior, you know what I'm saying, and make sure that our family is good and everything like that. But at the end of the day, we got to protect ourselves because that's a whole nother thing too, y'all. Lord Jesus, there's so much you can take away from this.
Yeah, and the thing is, and we just have to do better on just having each other's back because at the end of the day, all we got, we're all we got, and because no one else is going to do it better, and it showed that definitely. I mean, the dorm each other's backs. I mean, it was just like the Ninja Turtles, like just having each other's back at every single moment,
right?
And but doing so. And looking so fine.
They were so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Like, y'all, if I didn't have a big head, I would shave my head.
Stop talking.
It just inspired me to be like, girl, you could be cute without hair. But no, my head is too big for that. She ain't got time.
That is too funny.
She can't do that. No.
I mean, you should try it. I mean, hey,
Taurus, you have no idea how big my head is. Okay.
I can see.
First of all, I know that my head is bigger than yours, and I have definitely cut my hair very short. I've never gone bald.
But sis,
I like a little length on me, but I've definitely cut a lot of my hair off, and you'll be surprised what the black woman can make look good.
Well, that is true because my black is beautiful, and your black is beautiful, and our black is beautiful. So I definitely get. And wait, I want to shout out these Black Panther cast peoples.
Man, they did the thing.
Beauty on a screen, just melanin overload. Like, I was literally awestruck. Like, the whole time I'm just sitting there, like, all these beautiful colors, all these beautiful people. Like, and shout out to them because they literally did their research in this movie. Yeah. They literally did their research and they wanted it to be Pan-African, like, accurate. Like, you know what I mean? And they did honor and justice to the African culture. So shout out to them.
Let me say this. For anybody who is upset or not pleased or anything of those negative emotions, you could just go on and put that, where the sun don't shine. Because if you cannot take this movie as a body of work and learn something from it that you can apply from your life, then you could just stop. Because you are definitely, as Tora said, part of the problem. So many people had issues with the couture that was in the movie, the way that they carried themselves and their mannerism. And I was like, guys, Wakanda is not real. It doesn't exist.
It's the principle.
Yes, I'm like, whatever they decide to do for Wakanda is Wakanda. Like, they're not saying that they're from Senegal. They're not saying that they're from Cote d'Ivoire. They're literally living in an alternate universe that they have created. That's you guys have to pay attention to the subliminal message and stop trying to just put your own spin on stuff.
Thank you. Go ahead, Taurus, because I'm going to go last. Go ahead.
And the actors and actresses are not, most of them are not from Africa. They're from here in America.
Thank you.
Chadwick Boseman, he's from South Carolina. I mean, Carolinas. So, it's not like that this place is real. It's a principle that we can come together as one and make our own community stronger than it is already.
Exactly.
So, for those who are saying who are hating on us for dressing up and looking fly as a mug, have several seats.
Have several.
Because the thing is this, we may not ever, and they just announced that they're going to get a sequel in the making. Thank God. But
good.
The thing is, we may never, ever, ever, ever have something like this. But
exactly.
But you know what? We can make our own. We can make our own party. Our come together and look fly as a mug everywhere they go, and appreciated everyone from Zamunda to the mountains of Wakanda. Like everybody who coming up in there looking like King. I cannot say his name correctly, so y'all need to help me.
Jaffe Joffa.
Jaffe Joffa. Thank you. I can
You're
never
welcome.
say his name correctly.
Bear came through.
They see my movie, but she was barking, jumping on her leg and barking. Girl, I was cracking up.
And honestly, I want to shout out to the AMC employees and all the movie theater employees for sweeping up all the rose petals on the floors. I'm sorry about that, because I saw, and y'all probably saw the videos, but some of the people that we know have been doing a lot of crazy stuff. Like they had some people like throwing rose petals everywhere. Hey, I almost had, I kid you not, I almost had one white dude do it for me while I was about to walk into the theater. But
I'm done.
I wanted to be cool. Like, you know what? I'm not even gonna do you like that. You're gonna, and the funny thing was, the guy was, I was talking to him for a brief moment. He was like, the guy was actually gonna watch, what was it, 50 Shades Freed or something.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet either.
Like, I mean, I was like, bro, are you kidding me? What are you doing? You'd rather watch a movie about sex than watch this empowerment? Okay, do you? But it was just
wait. Tangent. Watching a movie about sex can't empower you in the bedroom?
I'm
just saying. You brought it up, and it's completely off topic. But I'm
celibate, so that's a different thing. But
we're not even getting into it.
See what happened when you go live with your family? You grilling your brother and stuff. So about Black Panther.
so about what? Look, listen, fair. So about Wakanda.
Next.
No. I totally agree with you both. I sound like a broken record sometimes talking about this movie, but a lot of people don't understand the impact, like what Fair and Taurus was saying. It's about the principle, you guys. Like, to me, they did an amazing job really depicting even a fictional country in Africa.
Absolutely.
By just doing their research and picking, from various tribes where you see like the markings on the skin or their jewelry, their hair, their clothing, even the language. Like, these things are real. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Be real, but where they drew from to make Wakanda is authentic and it is real. So to honor those African cultures and tribes is, a blessing. And it's something that they are honored to see on screen, because I've seen on social media, like a lot of the Kenyans over there are so happy for Lupita, and they're dancing in front of the theater and they're happy because they're seeing their culture on a big blockbuster screen in a positive and powerful way. And so then in turn, we as people of color over here in the States, we're happy because we're like, dang, about time we see Black people that aren't depicted in a negative way on the big screen.
Exactly.
And then the cherry on top is for us blurs who follow comic books and have known Black Panther to be like old in the comic book. So the cherry on top for us is the fact that we get to see this man on screen, finally getting what he deserves.
Right.
Finally getting to see the Dora Milaje and their glory on the screen. But that's what the whole principle is. It's not just the fact that, we're glorifying a fictional land and make-believe. It's the fact that we're seeing hope and power represented on a big screen when this is literally history. Like, I sat there and had tears coming out of my eyes.
I
because
cried
I'm
4 times the first
I
time I saw the
swear.
movie. I felt like
No,
such a
like
big baby.
I thought I was the only one. Like I'm sitting there with tears coming down
No.
my eyes because I'm like sitting next to my dad, who probably never in his lifetime thought that
Mm-hmm.
he would see this. You know, my dad's in his 50s. He probably never thought he would see this. But I'm sitting next to him and we're both sitting there witnessing history. Like what more could
Exactly.
you ask
Yeah.
for?
And I'll say this: this is equivalent to, well, it's not. Well, is it safe to say that this is equivalent when Barack Obama was elected into office, or
It
For
was
is
it?
sure.
very similar. Yes, it is
Yeah.
very similar.
Yeah. You want to
Okay.
know why?
That-
Because the
because
news, I don't watch the news. I don't read it. Most of the
mhm,
time, if I find out about something, it's because somebody's either texting me or calling me about it.
Or
But the
social
news
media.
just does a great job, right?
Hmm.
But the news just does a great job of showing us the negative.
oh yeah,
Yes.
The negative, the
Yes.
negative, the negative. You're always finding about somebody shooting somebody,
Mhm.
robbing somebody. And I live in a predominantly African American community. So obviously, what's going to be on my news is usually things relative to African Americans. That's not to say that all African Americans are bad or ghetto or hood or anything, but you're going to get news indicative of where you stay. If
Yeah.
you stay in a neighborhood where it's mostly Asians, your news is going to be about Asian people. That's just
Hmm.
the fact of the matter. They're not going to report unless it's like a mass situation, just like what we saw in Florida last week. I'm
Yeah.
going to find out things that are happening in my own city, and my city is predominantly African American. And so it's just a real negative portrayal of my culture, my people, and really what we have to offer. There's so many kids in Memphis who get scholarships. And by scholarships, I mean like over the millions of dollars in
Hmm.
scholarships to go to education. And they might talk about it like one newsreel in May. No, you need to be covering this story year end. You need to be
Yeah.
showcasing how these students are getting this money. What are they doing? Every week there should be something about this because these kids are really doing it. They're really putting forth the effort to be productive citizens. But no, that's not what we want to cover. We want to cover somebody stealing something. We want to cover, another unarmed individual getting shot up by the police. I'm tired of hearing negative news. So
Yeah.
when
yeah,
I see positive things, I jump at that. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm here for that. I'm
Yeah.
yeah.
here for people being fully clothed in a movie because I'm like, we're fighting. So why are you fighting in a tank top?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I mean,
And that's another thing, sis. We talked about that though, like to see these beautiful black women not being sexualized,
I love it.
mhm.
but being praised for being warriors. And I mean
Exactly.
good
And
warriors
bad,
because yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like we talked about that in our episode, our prelude, I guess you could call it, to Black Panther when Jensen was saying like the Dora Milaje, they are the elite.
Mm-hmm.
They are the baddest of the baddest that fight for the king and protect the king and
Exactly.
Wakanda. So to see us, beautiful black women in that light, rather than someone who's scorned or angry or sexualized, like that's something that we take away from this film. And for you
Mhm.
guys to
Ooh,
say,
and what about the love that they showed in the movie?
the love was amazing too because
Girl.
Nakia and T'Challa. Okay, now I in the comic books, I was all for Storm and T'Challa, but they're divorced now. So I mean, it is what it is.
Well, but I mean, the thing, but that's real. Ever since that deal, though, everybody's been asking about that wedding. Like for real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it has to happen. It has to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Just
mean,
don't let just don't let it be Alexandria Ship. I think that's her
oh
name.
God, no. No, 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 no. And did y'all know, speaking of that, fun fact, did you guys know that Letitia Wright, Shuri, the one that plays Shuri,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
she actually was interested in thinking about auditioning for Storm for
Oh
that
yeah,
movie.
girl. Do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, she actually thought about that.
But wouldn't that be weird? I mean, that's brother and sister.
I mean, but you know what? I love her as Shuri because now she's a Disney princess. And so I'm all here for that. And I
Yeah.
think that's amazing. And I think she plays a great Shuri
Can
because
Yeah.
anybody give me an update on Hallie? What is cousin Hallie doing? What's she doing
I
with her life?
don't even know. I don't
She's
know.
busy trying to get over that scene, that movie Catwoman. I guess I don't know, but she's still on.
Catwoman or Monsters Ball?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true.
Cause she definitely got to get over that. But
Yeah,
if
for real.
if I'm just throwing it out there, if Hallie is still serving me good badassery, then I'm gonna need her to play Storm because that's just she's
Yeah,
perfect.
I don't
yeah.
like her as Storm. I never,
Really?
ever,
Real.
ever, ever in life preferred her as Storm.
I like her.
Let me tell you why, though. Let me tell you why, and I will justify myself in this situation.
Yeah, give me some
Because coming from a comic book perspective, and it may not be her fault as an actress. It may be more of the director's fault, because the director for X-Men sucks. And yes, I said it for y'all who are watching. Fight me.
Ooh.
He sucks because he does not depict women of color in their right in the way that they should be, and he does not indicate women period in the X-Men universe as they should be. Jubilee should be way further, on the screen than she is now. Storm is a freaking OP character. For those of you who don't know what OP is, it is overpowered. I believe she's an Omega mutant. You guys out there can correct me if I'm wrong. She should be, her power should be way more than the freak it is in the X-Men cinematic universe. She should be forefront. Her powers should be like, bam, in your face. But instead, she take Apocalypse. I hated that movie. She's just scared, and she's behind. Jubilee, you only see her on just passing scenes. Like, these are OP characters, guys. They should be getting the forefront. Like, what the heck? And like I said, it may not be Halle Berry as an actress, but what she is given in the way that she delivers it as Storm, no thank you. Give me another Storm. I can't.
The only time that she was actually good in Storm, the very first movie, slightly.
Maybe.
And it's only because it was our first time seeing Storm. That was it. After the first one, it wasn't, worth
Then her accent changed.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna get up off of Cousin Halle.
This accent to that accent. Like, how did that happen? Did you?
I was like, bruh.
She got older.
Yeah.
Like, what? How did you go from having a Kenyan accent to having no accent to having a slight accent?
Well, let me tell you. So she got older, and then also she moved to a new neighborhood. And so all of that, combined just, made it what it was. That's all.
Yeah. But I will say, if they reboot and we get maybe another actress for Storm, I would like to see that. Although I don't think they will incorporate Storm as far as, T'Challa's boo. I don't think they will.
I don't think
right
so
now.
Because of the success of this movie. There's no need in going back.
There's no need for that. And then you got the whole X-Men universe, and then the Marvel universe. I mean, I don't know. I'm not even into that.
Yeah, it's possible, but more likely they won't do it because, think about the next movies that are coming up, and it's bad enough we're getting another X-Men movie, Dark Phoenix.
I don't. Okay, let's not get into that. Let's back to Black Panther.
I know we so on a tangent. We sorry, y'all, but I promise you stuff y'all want to hear and know.
I mean, this is what the planet does anyway. When we get together, y'all, we just talk. We're family, so it doesn't matter. But no, the Nakia and the T'Challa works for me. I'm here for that. Keep that. Nakia, Lupita, I can't even say her name. Lupita is beautiful. She is gorgeous. Like, her and Okoye, Denai, is that how you say her name? Denai,
I think it's Denai.
Yeah, Denai. They're both gorgeous. But no, I'm feeling the T'Challa and the Nakia vibe. It's cute. Especially when this is not spoilers though. Y'all see it in the thing. When Okoye was telling him, like, don't freeze. Don't freeze. I never freeze. Like, okay. When you see all that beauty, you can't do nothing but freeze.
We're gonna put Ari out there as Storm.
Like, Black love. Like, one thing that the movie showed us was like Black love is real. Like, that.
It is real.
Wasn't it beautiful?
It's not even just about romance. It's just about, like I said earlier, having each other's backs, because we don't see that often. I'm not saying that you can't love other women outside your race. I'm not saying that at all, or other men for that matter. Whatever your preference is. But understand that when Black love hits you can never. Yeah.
What he's saying is.
Look, guys, for real.
And now Planet Blurder will be taking a break. No.
Yeah. See,
we'll put him on pause.
Yeah, put me on. I'm bad tonight. I'm bad.
No,
we're just turned. That's all it is, you guys. We're just excited about Black Panther.
And we enjoy it because this is when we do things like this, live reviews, you get our unscripted versions of ourselves.
Exactly.
So you get the real deal skinny. Like if y'all didn't think that any of our other reviews are real, this is no faking. Like this is just our unfiltered opinion on life and society as it is relative to this movie. And this movie just had so much immense siblings. Each of us went and saw it twice. And I'm contemplating that third time.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So...
And it's honestly safe to say that this movie, and think about it, y'all, for a 4-day weekend, it's breaking records.
Man, ain't it? Yeah.
Breaking
for real.
Records.
Like
they said, according to I think it was Yahoo News that reported earlier today that it has already broken the record for most pre-sales, twice as more than Star Wars.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Star Wars, like
but it's like. It's almost like, dang, y'all, hold on. Let me get this out the way. It's almost like I see this movie as like Christmas Day. Okay? Like you've waited all year, because we've waited almost a year for Black Panther. They announced it around like March or something last year. Okay. So we've waited almost a year. It's just like Christmas. You wait all this time and you get to this one day or this one weekend, because Christmas Eve and then Christmas. And then you like, dang, bro, now what? Like, I done seen this movie. I done got hyped. I'm ready to reach back into my culture and find out who I am. And I'm like, dang, we gotta wait for a sequel.
Exactly. It's like who does that?
I bet you they're probably gonna use they're probably gonna use even more things that we probably would never seen in Black Panther the first time around.
I agree.
And I'm surprised. In this, you for the first time, like seeing Wakanda, it's so beautiful. Can we just
so beautiful?
Like the beauty of it with everything. Like, I mean, and everyone saw the trailers and everything, the skyscrapers and all of that. I mean, it's so beautiful. Like, there are no words. That's a result of Black people working together as one.
And you know what I love and appreciate, just on a personal standpoint? Whenever I'm super duper hyped for a movie, I don't know if my subconscious tells me not to watch TV or not to be on social media as much. I'm not exactly sure as to the science of it. But when I tell y'all, I only saw one trailer for Black Panther, and it was the trailer of them being in the spaceship. That was it. Like the one where she was like, "Don't freeze, I never freeze." Literally the only trailer that I saw. Which is great for me, because when I went into the movie theater, I didn't know what to expect as far as like an actual movie outside of what I knew from the comics, of course. And so I'm just like sitting in complete amazement visually, because the scenes are so crazy. And I psyched myself by my brother and I, we went to go see it in IMAX the first time. Yep. So it was like everything was like jumping off the screen and like poking me in the eye.
Yeah. I honestly could not take it all in at once. And it was good that I went to go see it a second time, because it's just the fact that, like I said, then again, this is non-spoilers, the part where it was in the preview where they're going up into their, their spaceship or their plane or whatever. And Wakanda is cloaked, but once they enter, Wakanda is uncloaked and you can see Wakanda. And so it was that moment for me in the movie. That's when tears started rolling down my face personally, because I was like, this is happening. And it's
look
like,
at this hidden joy, right?
Yeah. It's like, this is so much to take in. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my dad, and he's just like, eyes are huge, and he's looking at me like, this is history. Like, and how can you explain that? You can't. And then when they visually put it at a point where it's just so rich and beautiful, words cannot express.
Exactly. Yeah.
In it, opening night, I was so, and I saw it in IMAX 3D as well. I had a panic attack because
I remember you text me that, bro.
Because I was overly excited. Like, I kid you not, I wasn't scared. I was just overly excited. I was like, look, I kid y'all not. My anxiety kicked in so hard. I literally had to stand up, like at the edge of the, the stairs where the stairs are.
Yeah.
I literally had to stand there the entire time.
Did someone go with you?
Yeah, my cousin and my friend Kim, she went with me. She's frat, and her cousin,
Okay, good.
yeah, she came along with me. So she basically, we all were sitting there, and my cousin texted me. He was like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm just having a panic attack. This is about to be the hypest thing on the block, like everywhere."
Yeah.
Like I was just,
Isn't it
I couldn't
amazing?
say myself. Yeah, and I
But
was like,
wait, pause. I want to say this before we go forward. We had somebody that was on our live chat, and they were saying, "Hey Darius, shout out to you, boo, who's listening." He
Hey,
said,
Darius.
he
"What's good? What's
said,
good? Good, bro."
he said, I kept looking down at my kids to see how they were taking it in, and that's important too because we talked about that earlier
Oh yeah.
in this segment, and we were saying how the kids were, basically taking in the representation from the movie and how they felt and the mindset that it gave
Right.
them. So yeah, shout out to your kids, Darius. I hope they're out there being kings and queens of Wakanda.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wakanda
And
forever.
so much there's so much possibility that you could see with kids. Like now they have some hope because I mean, it almost makes you wonder like, what if this came? Excuse me. What if this came sooner? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Man,
What,
yeah, for sure.
like oh my goodness, like
Yeah.
with the
Ooh, and
mindset
what
these
about the heavy emphasis on science and technology?
oh
Oh,
yeah,
wait. Let me sit up for this. Hold on.
yeah. Let me
Okay.
If y'all
Okay.
didn't know, that was Ari's jam. Like, don't be
Okay.
talking about no science and think she ain't finna chime in.
Thank you, sis. Thank you for my introduction. Let me tell you guys something. As a woman of science and as a biologist, I appreciated, that's my clapping emojis if you guys did not check this. I appreciate what we saw represented through Shuri. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Woman is 16 in this movie
Yep.
and is on par, according to articles, with Tony Stark, who is a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
So let's think about that for a minute. And to be able to give these little brown babies hope that they can go out and be scientists and be as smart as they can be as women, as men of color, whatever the case may be, you guys can achieve it. There were times, and we talked about this on our throwback episode, Taurus. I don't know if you remember when I was saying like some of my fondest memories were when I was in elementary and middle school, and I went to school that was higher learning, so it was a lot of gifted and talented kids, and so we were all STEM, and my fondest memories was being with them and creating things. I created robots from scratch, you guys. Like we're out there building this technology and doing things like that. It is plausible, it's reachable. No matter what color you are, no matter what gender you are, you can be out there. I was literally in, what grade was I in? 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, out there building a robot from scratch that was a golf course that literally ran itself. So it's something that you can achieve. And it gives all these little kids hope because, being a scientist is all about finding a solution to a problem that you know nothing about and fixing it. And that's what Shuri does. She takes something that they did not know much about. It just crash landed on their nation, vibranium, and she's taking it and she's using it as a resource to better her country and to protect her brother and her country. And so that stood out to me because I was like, honey, you better be a scientist out there. Like you better be smart.
And I'm such a big nerd. I love science. I love social sciences. I love physical science, and I definitely love chemical science. Although it's hard, chemical science is probably the hardest of them all.
Jesus, yes, it is.
But it's so great to see the scientific aspect of it because classes like that, especially in high school,
organic chemistry.
Yeah, or chemistry, and like that, like they're not really taken seriously anymore. Like I remember when I was teaching, I used to be a teacher a year ago. I taught only foreign languages, but I was always involved with the science club. And basically, they were like, the teachers, they don't really take it seriously here. And so it's not just about teaching; it's about doing what you love. Sure, it's doing what she loved.
Yeah, she is.
And this is just showing that they can have a passion for something other than what the world has given them. You know, I mean, throw a football or throw a basketball. And my mom, she would always, tell me you could be something so much greater than an athlete. And I was like, because I wanted to play professional football at one point, and we saw how that went about. And I was like, what can I be? You could be a scientist. And I was like, really? Let me try it. So I studied, ended up studying some more sciences, and then it just changed my perspective on every single thing. And as far as robotics and physical science and mathematics in a mixture along with that, it's just so great. And that's just an example of advancement in education.
Yep.
This year, 16 years old. 16 years old, hasn't even graduated college yet, and royal blood, and smarter than Tony Stark. That she's a kid,
That says a lot.
Yeah, it says a lot. And she black,
right? Yeah. As that seasoning, like we like to call it, salt.
It's like you can't think of anything better than that. That's the perfect example. And it's just so wonderful. And now the kids, especially little black girls, because they need it the most.
Right.
And so, it's like, I can be this and I can be that. And she's a Disney princess. So
yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
Princess. Amazing. Glory be to God.
And I mean, what a time for us to see that, though. We were talking about representation. For those of you who are in STEM, you know that there is a lack as far as women, period, and women of color. And there's a lot of organizations that try to cultivate that and try to, bring fellowship between women of color as far as in STEM and everything like that. But to see that represented on the screen, that kind of gives little girls hope, like, oh, I can be an engineer, or I can be a mathematician, or a biologist or anything like that, and thrive. Because I know personally, like and Bree's going to be joining us in a little bit. She can probably contest to this too also and agree to this. But like, it's hard being a woman and being a Black woman in the field of science. It's not easy. It's
hidden figures.
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, even at my job, when I first got there 3 years ago, I was the only person of color and I was the only woman of color in my department. And my department consists of analysts and PhDs. So we finally got another woman of color about probably 9 months ago. So now there's two of us. But that alone just shows you like where the need is. So now this movie brings hope because there's a Disney princess that's smarter or on par or whatever with Tony Stark. Now little girls are like, hey, I can get into chemistry or biology or math or engineering, like, and be like Shuri or better. You know what I mean?
It's wonderful. Oh, and I love women that know science. I love Black science. It's just the coolest thing ever. So if you're any Black women out there that are scientists that are they're out there, hit a brother up. I'm just kidding. But yeah,
he ain't kidding. He's serious. Don't let him play out.
Hashtag she fine.
Right.
He's a keeper.
Where you just truly admire and just want to be, in that position, just to say, hey, I mean, when I was 16, I was too focused on finishing my homework and just getting out of class. This girl she already has a career.
Yeah, she does.
Barely started. She barely started. And so it's amazing just to have that feel overall, and just to see the screen is the best thing ever.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, like we said in the beginning of the segment, and just to recap for those who are, just joining us, the representation in this film is so much more than what you think it is. And the takeaways that we're getting from this movie, it really is amazing. It breaks down to a lot of things, whether it's gender, color or intellect, whatever. This movie shows us a lot, and we can learn a lot from this movie as a nation and as a people.
X.
I think that a lot of times we fall into this fantasy thing and we're just like, oh, whatever, it's not real, guys. But look at what they're trying to tell you and the messages that they're putting in the movie, and take that and kind of just digest it for a little bit. And that's why we're here talking about what this movie means to us personally and what we thought about the movie. I do want to talk a little bit about Killmonger as a villain, because I thought that he killed it. I think Marvel villains are really watered down and bland sometimes in comparison to DC. Again, fight me, whatever, but I don't really care for a lot of Marvel villains. But I think what we got from Killmonger is very, Taurus, we were talking about this the other day. It's almost a mix of like that Wolverine mindset with Punisher.
Exactly.
And then put them together and you get Killmonger in this movie.
Exactly.
I thought he was amazing. And again, what we talked about earlier, you can kind of relate, no spoilers, but you can kind of relate to where he's coming from as a villain. You kind of feel him. You're like, okay, I get it. But I just think that he did a great job. Michael B. Jordan, shout out to you. You did a great job as a villain. Shout out to whoever chose to give him, and this is not spoilers, it's in the trailer, to give him the leopard-looking suit. Okay, because Taurus and I have talked about this. And my theory on it, I think it is paying homage to the whole when they changed Black Panther's name to Black Leopard, because of the flack they were getting from people saying, it's associated with the Black Panther Party when it never was. Stan Lee went on record saying that. And it also could pay homage to, if you guys are comic book fans, Eric Killmonger kind of has this little sidekick named Prey, and he's a leopard. So it could pay homage to that. It could pay homage to when Black Panther changed to Black Leopard. But shout out to the attention to detail in Black Panther. You guys did a great job.
It's so cool, and a lot of people, I don't think and I'm not going to lie to you, when I first saw that suit, I was like, hold up,
I know.
Can I get one? I mean, it just
can I get one in my size?
But then it made so much sense. I had to, you ever had to, just like the movie, you had to see it twice. You had to see the trailer twice, because the first trailer, well, the second trailer technically,
exactly,
and I had to see it like 6 times just to get it. I'm like, oh, I see what they did, So that's when I caught on to where it was Prey. It had to be Prey.
It was Prey.
Because Prey took down, T'Challa in the comics. So it was just like, wow, what? Y'all are good.
Yeah. They did a lot of attention to detail. If you pay attention to a lot of the Easter eggs that are in this movie, again, attention to detail to African culture and tribes, but also attention to detail for all of us comic book goers out there. They gave us some things where we could say, oh, we're proud of this. We love this. Like, especially in credit scene. I said this on Facebook, second in post-credit scene. That was specifically for comic book people. That wasn't for everybody else. That was for us blurs, because I squealed so loud in the movie theater, and my dad looked at me like, are you okay? I was like, oh my God. Like, I went nuts. And then Taurus, I called you when we talked about it.
And and it was like, bruh, no one would have, if people didn't read comic books, they would have never gotten that for real. It was just, bruh, I was like, I said, and I let out a good old yo in the theater. I was like, yo! And then it was like, and thankfully because what irritates me, especially after a Marvel movie, is when people leave the theater.
Bruh, the disrespect.
Yeah, the disrespect in that. And it was just like, and thankfully I let out a good yo. It wasn't loud, but it was loud enough. It was like, yo! Oh, goodness. So, just to see that, ugh.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. You know what I'm saying?
Solid film.
Yeah.
For sure.
The beginning to the end.
It gets a 10 in my book.
Solid. Yeah. Like, I honestly feel like there was nothing that I could sit there and say, oh, this was horrible. And that's not even just because I'm biased as a comic book fan or as a blurred. That's just coming from the aspect that everything was executed
Yeah.
to the
Well,
T.
yeah.
To the T. So I thank them for giving us that history in such a powerful way. And I
Yeah.
think
Were there any characters that you guys would have wanted to see portrayed differently?
good question, Fair. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me think about that one.
Yeah. I think for me, and it's
Mm,
getting a little crazy, but I don't know. But I wished, I mean, I love Andy Serkis. I love Andy Serkis. But it's so weird seeing him on screen because he's always playing Gollum. My precious.
yeah,
And I kid you not,
yeah.
every time
Mm.
theater, I literally whispered my precious. It had to happen. It was like it had to happen. I mean, I couldn't help it. I might watch some Lord of the Rings tonight. But I feel like, I mean, yes, he did a great job as Ulysses Claw, like
He
he
did.
did in Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
But, I wish, it could have been better. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Without spoilers at all, it could have been better. But I loved him. I loved him. He was great, like always. Even on screen for the first time, it's weird. I mean, because the man got some big eyes. He
Mm-hmm.
looks exactly like Gollum. He looks exactly like Gollum. Cut his hair off. Looks exactly. But yeah, great. He was portrayed different.
I mean, okay, wait. I can piggyback a little bit off of that because I guess if I had to choose someone Fair that I was like, I want to see a little bit more from that character or see them portrayed in a different light.
Mm,
I guess for me it would be either Ulysses, just because, like we said though earlier, coming from a blurred, comic books perspective of it, we know him to be, and no spoilers, but we know him to be more of a powerhouse.
Exactly.
As far as his powers, and Jensen even mentioned this, but even one point in the comic, he's not even a person anymore. He literally becomes like this entity, I guess, of sonic disruption, if you will. So I could see a little bit if they would have gave us a little bit more of that power. That would have been great, but he did very well. This was the first time in the cinematic universe that we've seen him with his sonic disruptor in his hand. So
yeah.
maybe they didn't want to make it too much. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they kind of wanted to be subtle with it. So I guess if I had to choose, maybe him or I mean, M'Baku did great. I can't really take anything from him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard because everyone did their job so well.
Just if
Because
I'm looking
everybody.
at the theme, for me it'd be Killmonger. And the reason
Really?
why I say that, yeah, the reason why I say that is his message that he portrayed was very clear and to the point, and I think it was a message that we really needed. But his part just seemed a little off to me. Like it was too much of, I don't want to give anything away, but it was too much of like not a full Wakandian feel, if you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Okay.
without giving too much away. So
Okay.
I think that they could have done more with his character to just give him a little bit more depth and not
Yeah.
leaving him just on that one side, but also bringing him back to the culture and the traditions. Because I think that they left that part of his character out.
But I think, okay, I'm trying to use my words delicately here so that we
I
don't
know,
get
right? Because
away
now I'm
too
like,
guys.
I really want to have this
I
conversation.
know.
I know we like pressed on time, but I'm like, I've really been thinking about this. And some of the viewers that follow us and are out there listening now, that is definitely a question that they had is like, what could I do differently? And that's not, the movie is still a 10 out of 10. Like the movie is what it is. It better win, plenty of awards. But just if I was the director, if I was the producer, what would I like add to the movie?
I mean, I see where you're coming from in that aspect. I see that and I get that. I agree to an extent, but I feel like I'm trying to say this the right way without giving away anything. So I feel like a lot of that disconnect that he has, which is what we said earlier, from his ancestral background,
right?
Is really built upon his anger. I will just say that. I will say that it's built upon his rage, and almost to, even my dad said this, almost to where you get to a point in your life, and this is real life because I've been there, where you get so angry from your past that you get to a point where you're blinded
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? I'm
I
trying
do.
not to go
Yep.
too much into it. You get blinded from everything else that
It's
is
just that lost soul that we were talking about at the beginning of this episode.
exactly. You're too far in,
Yeah.
and there's no return because of the scarring that you've had from that past. And that's all I'll say because I don't want to get too much
Got
out,
you. Okay.
give it away.
Put it into words because I mean, it especially it extracts into so much character that he brought to the film,
Agreed.
and, and of course into the comics as well. Also,
Yeah.
they just like you can't really put your finger on it, but the message was clear,
Right.
and just made it seem like it's this is it, this is it, this is where to go,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And it's crazy because like you said, Fair, though, you could see, we said this earlier in the recording, like there's just that contrast. You can kind of see the part where the traditionalists are coming from. You see where the innovation or the evolution is. You see that part of it. And it's almost like this film kind of brings you to a middle point to where it's like, this is how we can come together as a people and as a nation. And like I said, that's something that we could take note from this movie. We can really sit down and see what this movie is trying to tell us, not only as people of color, but as a people, because people fail to realize there is no race. There's only the human race. And a lot of times we get so blinded by other things going on that we forget that everything, began in Africa. We're all one people. Just because our pigment in our skin is different, we decide to treat each other in horrific ways that I'm just like, godly, like I can't even think of. So this movie really shows us that you can come together as a people. We're not even talking about different colors here. We're talking about people. We are one race, the human race. And how powerful can we be if we come together as one and everybody's equal? There is no hierarchy status where women are lower than men. Everyone's equal. We work together and we allow everyone to be powerful in their own right. We could be amazing. And that's what this movie is showing us. And that representation is amazing. And the fact that our little brown babies can run around here dressed up as kings and queens. I love it, y'all. I'm like on social media, like, yes, little babies.
and the thing, to see that type of inspiration, it brings me joy to my heart. It brings joy to all of our hearts, just to see, kids have something to look up to. And for us to definitely inspired by, because we as adults, we need to be inspired as well. Just
that's
to show
that's the truth.
Kings and queens and how to act as such.
Yeah.
Because with the craziness, the music videos and everything. Not knocking all of that, you know what I'm saying? But that's not all we know. We know so much.
Right.
And we should never be afraid of our full potential as a people.
Yeah.
We can do so much more. We can do so much greater than what other people think. And so it doesn't matter what they think, because at the end of the day, whatever we do, we're going to do it as kings and queens. And we're going to. So it's just about that empowerment and just moving forward to the next level.
Agreed.
Very good.
I think that all of what we've said throughout this whole episode here, is basically what Wakanda forever means. And that's something that, it may not be real. Wakanda may not be real, and this movie may be fictional. But again, what we've just talked about is real, and it resonates with us. And so, again, you guys, if you're going to check this episode out later, we're just going to hashtag Black Panther So Lit and Black Panther period, Wakanda forever, and the planet. And, just let us know what you think of what we talked about thus far. We're just coming to you guys, non-spoilers. We're talking about the movie, but more about what it represents and what it means to us and what it means to our people and our nation. Other than that, you guys, I do want to say one thing, and I know it's going to be sad, but this technically is our last episode for season 1. We'll upload an episode probably tonight or tomorrow just as a thank you to all of our supporters for season 1, and to let you guys know when we'll be back for season 2. Because we are going to take, we got to take a little break so that we can regroup.
Oh yeah,
and get ourselves ready for season 2, because we have some great things coming for season 2. No spoilers,
woo, woo, woo.
but we're excited about it.
I'm excited.
So yeah, look out for our farewell message on SoundCloud, iTunes, and not Twitter, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play. You guys can listen for free. Check out this episode. Tweet us, message us on Facebook. Let us know what you think. Yes. Again, hashtag Black Panther So Lit, the planet. Hashtag Wakanda Forever, because it is. But to my co-hosts here, thank you guys so much for our conversation. I love you guys so much.
Love you too.
You guys are amazing. And thank you to our listeners out there. You guys, we love you too.
And anybody that's listening and watching, please reach out. If there's something that you guys want us to cover, obviously all movies and all things blurred we will cover. But we also want to bring you guys some material that you like. We've covered finances. We've covered mental health. Yes. Those are things that are really important to our community. And we want to make sure that if there's a topic out there you want us to cover, that you let us know so we can give you some consideration for season 2.
Yeah, because we're ready for season 2, y'all. Y'all have no idea what's coming. Like,
we ready. We ready.
But yeah, y'all, we love you guys. And Wakanda forever, you guys. I'm so serious about that.
Can I do it while my phone is on? Let me see. Okay, here I go.
Wakanda forever. All right, y'all. Planet Blerdom signing out. We love y'all.
Peace.
See y'all around the way.